Happy Ramadan to all the followers of Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teaching.
What the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033.
Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we'd like to talk about the prayer service, and it is called Prayer in Islam. It says, surely prayer keeps one away from indecency and evil, and certainly the remembrance of Allah is the greatest force, and Allah knows what you do. The messenger says, surely the best way to strive to be upright in a sinful world is to pray continuously to the one true God whose proper name is Allah for guidance. As we are generally sinful and easily yield to temptations, it is only fitting to keep up prayer. Now this prayer service, because when you look at the message to the black man and you look at the chapters that the messenger got, it's a lot of stuff that we leave out of this new school stuff we be talking about. We leave out that prayer service part, we leave out the Islam part, and we leave out that hypocrites, disbelievers, and obedience. We take bits and pieces of what the messenger said and then fit it in to our thing. Because in this prayer service, just them two sentences alone, the messenger says, surely the best way to strive to be upright in a sinful world is to pray continuously. That's the best way. He ain't say nothing about what you know, nothing about reciting nothing. He just said, surely the best way to strive to be upright in a sinful world is to pray continuously. Not just one time, or, I pray a couple times. He says pray continuously. Then he didn't just say pray continuously. He says to the one true God whose proper name is Allah for guidance. Then he says, as we are generally sinful. And then he says, and we easily yield to temptation. Now see, if we're going to talk about ourselves, we're going to say the black man is all wise. Does everything right and exact. That's true. But it has a place. Everything has a place. It's true. A lot of things true. But it's not that place for that. To be talking about yourself like that. What you should say is we generally sinful. And easily yield to temptation. That's more proper. Than always talking this, the black man is all wise and does everything right and exact. You're giving people the wrong impression of what it means to be God. You're giving them the wrong impression when you do that. Because the messenger says we are to pray continuously to the one true God. One true God, whose proper name is Allah. That's what the messenger is saying. So we can't, it's not, we don't understand what the God thing is when we call another brother Allah. His proper name ain't, why are you calling him Allah? Because Allah got a meaning. When the messenger told us his proper name is Allah. Allah has a meaning. The messenger has, and this comes from March 28, 1969, Muhammad Speaks. And this, the messenger has in here, it says, why black man should be called by names of God. So even when he telling us about us getting a name, he's saying why the black man should be called by names of God. His names. We should be called by his names, not our names. The messenger says, he says, so many times you have heard that God has 99 names or attributes, that which is attributed to God. Simple and plain. God got 99. Not only did he tell us his proper name is Allah, he telling us what Allah means. He's saying so many times you have heard that God has 99 names or attributes, that which is attributed to God. The 100th name or attribute of God is the name Allah, which represents that he is all in all. That's what Allah means. Allah don't mean I'm just calling this brother because the black man is God. I call you Allah, I call you God. Allah has a meaning. Allah is somebody's proper name. It ain't your proper name, but somebody's proper name is Allah. Because Allah is, it has a meaning. And the meaning of Allah is all in all. That's what Allah mean. Allah don't mean I'm just going to call this brother Allah because the black man is God. That ain't what that means. Allah means all in all. One person is all in all. Everybody ain't all in all. But the black man is God. It's proper. That's true. But you got to take everything in its proper context. We can't take what the messenger is saying about Master Farad Muhammad and apply it to ourselves. You can't do that. When you read the message to the black man, and he talking about the coming of Allah or the coming of the Son of Man, everything in there applies to the Son of Man. It ain't talking about you at all. You can't take stuff out of the Son of Man and say that's me. He explained to us what Son of Man means. It can't be you. There's no way possible none of us in America can be the Son of Man. Even if you have black people who might have a white parent, that don't mean you the Son of Man. Because it's a meaning to the Son of Man. He says the coming of the Son of Man. Where you came from. Everything that the messenger taught us has a meaning. Then he goes on to say, he says his name begins with the name Creator and ends with the first and last, the eternal. Many of his attributes refer to such names as power, force, the mighty, the wise, the most merciful, the maker, the fashioner, the best knower, the all-hearing one, the all-seeing one. He says the Holy Quran says that he has the best names and the most beautiful names. So many of these names that we should have are pertaining to our Father. Are pertaining to him, not to us. It's pertaining to him. So, it's one person whose proper name is Allah. Allah means the all in all. So all 99 attributes pertain to him. We should have these names. We shouldn't be called Jenkins, Jackson, Jones, Smith, and Culpepper. But these are his names, but we should have. Because he our Father. But these names pertain to him. Then he says his names of praise and one worthy of praise are just a few of the great names which belong to God, and he wants to give them to us. Simple and plain. He says it belongs to God. To hear and read an article where the messenger talking about Master Farad Muhammad, talking about what he's giving us the meanings of these terms, and then listen to a brother science it all up. It's stupid. It makes it stupid. Really, it really does. It gives the lost found the wrong impression of the message. That's right. When you do that. Because the lost found ain't stupid himself, even though he deaf, dumb, and blind. When you tell a lost found who just done got out the church, believing in Jesus, then you tell him you God. Say, okay, now I've been believing that God is all powerful. This brother telling me he God. He can't do nothing for me. He work on my job with me. He's struggling and catching hell like me. He got to pay his taxes like me. All this stuff he got to do like me. Why he God? What makes you God then? If you God. But when we talk about Master Farad Muhammad, we could talk about the most merciful. We could talk about a savior and a deliverer. Because when the messenger passed away, this was an article that was written about the messenger when he died. It was a lot of articles that was written about the messenger when he passed away, but this one was one in particular that I like. Even though they was hating on the messenger in this article a little bit. But this article comes from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and it's the Sunday, March 2nd, 1975. They had interviewed this poor black lady about the messenger. She was walking past the messenger's mansion, this poor lady, and they asked her and interviewed her. It says, Mrs. Ellis M. Jackson, a frail, delicately boned woman who does domestic work in this city's fashionable Hyde Park area, rests her shopping bag at the corner of 49th Street and Woodlawn Avenue and admired the Damascus-style mansion that was home of Elijah Muhammad, the late leader of the Nation of Islam. The poor black woman did not envy the rich black man the symbols of his success. She says, I think this man did so many wonderful things for the black race, she said. I have a lot of respect for him, although I'm not a Muslim. No, I don't see anything wrong with him living like this. He deserves it. So this woman, seeing the message, she poor now, working in this district of Hyde Park with these rich people. I'm broke, but I see this man, because when you do so much good works that it's hard for people to hate on you, because it's easy for people to feel jealous. Like, look at this nigga, you know, why he living in a mansion? Well, I ain't got no mansion. I'm walking. What'd he do? But the messenger, she was like, no, I can't even hate on him. He deserved that. All of the good works that he did, he deserved that. All praise is due to Allah. Because when the messenger taught us about Allah, to show you how the messenger was different from us, even though people see him as a great leader, he never took credit for what he did. Never. I'm just a messenger of Allah. When he told us the attributes of Allah, he could have been like how we do. All this stuff he doing. He could have been like, hey, I'm God. You know, how wise I am. He never said that. He said, I was too dumb. Whenever people tried to give him credit for what he was doing, I was too dumb. It is because his guidance. He whispers in my ear when he pleases. He guides me. You don't protect me, he protects me. He didn't never take no credit for what he did. Never. Because the purpose of the messenger was to point us to Allah. The purpose of us is to point other people to the message. All praise due to Allah. The purpose of us ain't to be telling people we got. That ain't the purpose. That ain't the purpose. The purpose for you is to point the people to the message. That's all it is. Because in this new school stuff, we act like it's about what we know. It don't make a difference about what you know. Because even when you look at the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, Time of the Messenger, this says, Messenger's formula for health aided Shabazz chef. Now this brother a chef, nah. He ain't in here trying to act like I cook so good dishes because I'm a good chef. It says Messenger's formula. Even the chef. It's about the message. So even if I can cook, I'm pointing to the message. Whatever I do, it's about him. It ain't about me. It ain't about me telling them I'm God. It ain't about me quoting my lessons. It ain't about nothing. Because in the Nation of Islam, them lessons don't mean nothing. Just make that plain. It don't mean nothing. Memorizing your lessons mean as much as a person memorizing the message say we eat 1 meal a day. It's all the same. Everything is the same because the purpose of it all is for you as a believer to point a person to the message. When you out selling papers, the people don't even know what you know. You might not know nothing. All you know I do, Muhammad Speaks. The messenger said, just the program, this is what he said. They don't know what you know. It don't make a difference what you know because all we doing is pointing people to the message. All the messenger was doing was pointing us to Allah. He said, I represent Allah in person, God in person. That was his purpose, was to point us to the messenger. But in our generation, now this is Dr. Sabi today. He ain't about to say the messenger nothing. The messenger, my herbs.
Yeah.
You know, I was a Muslim, but my herbs. But when the messenger was alive, it ain't your herbs. It's the messenger's formula.
That's it.
That's what you telling them. You ain't even really talking about him as a chef, really. You trying to tell the people about the messenger, but since he a chef, you can use his thing too. The chef, he cook at the salon. The messenger, restaurant, the salon. He the chef in it. He a good chef. He got good dishes. But the messenger's formula, everything point to the messenger. All praise due to Allah. But we don't do it like that in this new school stuff. And that's why we don't really talk about the prayer service. Because we don't want to give Master Farah Muhammad that much credit to tell people we pray to him. Because the messenger says the best way to strive to be upright in the sinful world is to pray continuously to the one true God whose proper name is Allah for guidance. As we are generally sinful and easily yield to temptations, it is only fitting to keep up prayer. Then he goes on to say, he says, we see him, meaning the Muslim, washing his hands and all exposed parts of his body. We see him washing his face, his eyes, his ears, mouth, and nose, and even those wet hands go over his head to clean the very scalp, because he is now turning for the first time to his God Allah. That's what he's doing, for the turning to his God. All of us.
That's right.
Not just like a certain segment of us because we Muslims. No. For the first time, we know who God is now.
Right.
For the first time.
Right.
So those of us who accept the messenger teachings and we pray now, for the first time we turn ourselves to our God Allah. Then he says, and he looks upon the presence of God, and the light which he has shone upon him makes him feel he was unclean and that he needed to clean up.
Yes, sir.
So if you get the messenger's teaching for real and you take it to heart, you feel like I was unclean.
Yes.
You see yourself for real now. Now, before you became a Muslim and got the teachings of the messenger, you thought you was smart.
Right.
I thought I was smart.
Right.
Thought I knew a little something. I ain't know I was as dumb as I was until I came follow the message. It was kind of embarrassing to find out how really dumb you really is. Oh, praise to Allah. Sometimes I be reading still like, I thought I knew now. Don't know nothing.
Right.
When you get the teaching of the messenger and you really believe it, you know you not clean. You got to clean yourself up.
That's right.
So when you pray and you do ablution, you understand I do need to pray and be clean to be in the presence of a man that can bring this little bit of wisdom and give it to the messenger and do that. If I'm talking to him, I need to be clean.
Right.
Because I didn't know how dumb I was until I got his teachings.
That's right.
And he didn't even give it all to the messenger. He said that the science don't see an end to his wisdom.
Right.
So this little bitty piece of stuff we get ain't nothing compared to what it really is. This just enough to save us from the destruction of the white man.
Right. That's right.
That's all this is. We lose our mind with this little bit of wisdom.
Right.
All this is to get us to the destruction, up to the hereafter.
Yes, sir.
That's all this is. The messenger talk about that other book that only Allah know.
Yes, sir.
Think if he would have gave us a little bit of that. We already get crazy with the little bit that we get.
That's right.
And this ain't even all of it.
Right.
He says, and he looked, and looking upon the presence of God, and the light which he has shone upon him, makes him to feel he was unclean and that he needed to clean up. Even the outer appearance is to be clean in the presence of God to hear his words of guidance. He says he stretches forth his hands while standing as erect as a soldier before his captain at attention. We got to make that plain what that is too in this new school stuff. This what the messenger talking about.
Yes, sir.
This the way he taught us to pray.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Because when you become Muslim followers of the message, and you take it to heart, You ain't praying with no Sunnis and no Jun.
That's right.
They don't know nothing about the one true God whose proper name is Allah.
That's right.
Because when you talk about proper name, it says one person.
Yes.
Don't say one spook. Ain't no proper name for a spook. What designates a spook from another spook? Right. To give it a proper name. Say this is the proper name for this spook. This immaterial nothing. You give a proper name to something real like the Washington Monument. So when people see the Washington Monument, they know that's the Washington Monument. When you're talking about a spook, why we got to name a spook? For what? What distinguishes a spook from another? How many spooks is it? Is it one spook, two spooks, three spooks? When you got a spook, you don't have to name a spook. But when you have people, since there's so many people, one person needs a particular proper name. So when the messenger talk about Allah is the proper name for Master Farad Muhammad, you couldn't pray with the Orthodox Muslims. How could you? You know they don't pray to Master Farad Muhammad. So if you praying with them, what you doing? Then they got a whole ritual getting all on their knees. You would do all that talking about you believe Master Farad. No, you couldn't do it. Certain beliefs won't let you do certain stuff. Certain prestige, like if you a person who got a Bentley, something happened in your Bentley, you go take it to the shop, and they say for the loaner, we got a Ford Taurus for you. You like, nah, man, I done just gave you a Bentley. I ain't driving no Taurus.
Right.
You need to give me another Bentley.
Right.
I'm not driving no Taurus.
Right.
When you believe in Master Farad Muhammad as a God, certain things you ain't gonna do.
That's right.
I'm not praying with nobody, praying for a spook.
Right.
Getting all on my knees, acting like we doing the same thing. No. You believe in a spook. We don't believe in no spook.
That's right.
We don't believe like, and then especially how they talk about the master. Like he was the dumb. They know who Allah, because he said that Allah came in the, I hate to hear them talk about the messenger like that. Oh, he says that God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. You praying to a spook.
That's right.
Who you pray to?
Right.
You don't even know.
Right.
And then gonna make fun of the messenger. But you have Muslims who will pray with Orthodox Muslims. No, this is how the messenger taught us to pray.
That's right.
He says he has said that he has surely turned himself to Allah. He has taken an oath that he will not worship any God but Allah, and that his prayer, his sacrifice, his life, and his death are all for Allah. This is the part we don't talk about, that oath part.
Yes, sir. Right. Yes,
You take an oath
That's right.
when you become a follower of the Messenger.
That's right.
So you can't do everything that other people do when you take an oath. You taking an oath to the one true God whose proper name is Allah.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I like that article when the messenger talked about these hypocrites who leave and go out and start talking against Islam. Say, we got it on record. You said you believe.
That's right.
It's on record. Even though your prayer, don't nobody be with you when you pray. You by yourself. But all Muslims done wrote that letter. You took an oath
That's right.
that said that you believe. And the reason why, too, that we don't talk about hypocrites. We don't talk about hypocrites like the messenger used to talk about hypocrites.
Right.
The messenger got a section in the message to the black man that says, beware of false prophets. The messenger says the Holy Quran repeatedly warns the believers against hypocrites. Repeatedly. We're supposed to be able to distinguish a hypocrite from a believer.
Yes, sir.
All this acting like everybody is the same, we all teach the same thing, that's just this brother understand. No. It's only one understanding. It's the understanding that the messenger gave. That's it.
Right.
Ain't no that's his understanding. Ain't no his nothing. It's the messenger. It's what he said. Because he gave us the understanding. He told us what it was.
That's right.
So all this understanding, if he tell you Allah came in the person of Master Farad, what's the understanding part? You either accept it or you reject it. Right. Ain't no, I don't understand it like that. I understand that this brother is Allah. No. It's only one understanding.
Right.
So the messenger says the Holy Quran repeatedly warns the believers against hypocrites. It says they seek to deceive Allah and those who believe. And they deceive only themselves and they perceive not. When they come in, they hope to make Allah think that they are believers. and on their leaving sincerely seek to deceive the true believers so that they may turn them against Allah. That's why Messenger always talked about hypocrites. We don't talk about them no more in this new school stuff. We make it seem like everybody is the same. And that's why this black man is God stuff is the way it is. Because hypocrites teaching brothers about this black man's God stuff. Because they continuously want to turn you away from the message.
That's right.
So when them hypocrites is in the temple, they done got their X. They accept the teachings of the message. But they don't believe Master Farad Muhammad God.
Yes, sir.
So the Holy Quran say, on their leaving, sincerely seek to deceive the true believers so that they may turn them against Allah, the messenger, and the truth he has brought.
Yes, sir.
So them hypocrites who got their ass, they don't believe in Master Farad Muhammad God.
Yes, sir.
So they gonna turn other people away from the messenger and the truth that he brought.
That's right. Yes,
They gonna tell brothers everybody God. We all God. Master Farad Muhammad ain't God. We all God. And since we don't expose hypocrites no more, we say, oh, that's his understanding. It's the way he understands. You know, he ain't no hypocrite. Just that's the way he understands. No, that ain't what the messenger said.
That's right.
Because this hypocrite's part is a very important part to the black man's God. You need to know who a hypocrite is, who a disbeliever is, and what obedience means.
That's right.
If you don't know that, you don't know who God. You don't know nothing about no God. So the messenger goes on to say, he says they are mockers of the believers and say that they believe, but yet they are mockers of true believers. So they're going to say, yeah, I believe that the messenger is the messenger. I just don't believe that Master Farad Muhammad is God. So when you say you pray to him, they make mockery of that. Oh, he be praying. He be following the law. They mockers of the believers, but they gonna act like, oh, I believe the messenger too. You know, I believe what he said. No. This is what the messenger said. Beware of false prophets.
Right.
Then he goes on to say, Allah will pay them back their mockery, and he leaves them alone in their inordinacy, blindly wandering on. So when these hypocrites, because there's a lot of hypocrites out there.
That's right.
It's a lot of hypocrites who left the Nation of Islam. It's a lot of hypocrites who formed their own group. And the messenger said that Allah will pay them back their inordinacy, and he leaves them alone in their inordinacy, blindly wandering on.
Yes, sir.
So you see these groups lasting for years, blindly wandering on,
Right. Yes, sir.
talking the talk,
Yeah.
ain't producing nothing.
Yes, sir.
So when we seen this lady, Miss Jackson, when she saw the messenger's work, she didn't feel jealous of him. She said he deserved it.
Yes, sir.
But when these hypocrites who turn against the messenger and they got their own little thing, when they die, a lot of these hypocrites is dead. What do the people say about the hypocrite? Any hypocrite, you choose one, because there was a lot of them.
Right.
Choose your favorite hypocrite you like. That hypocrite that tell you Master Farad Muhammad ain't God. That hypocrite who say the messenger wasn't the messenger.
Yes, sir.
When they die, what do people say about them? Why don't people feel about them the way you talk about them? Since they were so great. These hypocrites. These ones that tell you don't pray. These ones who tell you don't, the Master Farad Muhammad ain't God and the messenger ain't the messenger. Why? Only people who feel so highly of them is the people who think like you. This sister said, I ain't no Muslim. But he deserved that all he did for black people.
Yes, sir. Right.
That's the message.
Right.
He wasn't no just talker. Because these teachers produce more than just talking.
Yes.
When you represent Allah. When you represent Allah, even the people who don't accept you can see something special about him.
Yes, sir. That's right.
What he did for the black race. I ain't even no Muslim. I don't believe like they believe, but I feel the same way about him they do. He deserved that.
Right.
But when you talk about any hypocrite, choose one. Why don't people who don't see that hypocrite like you see him talk about him the way you do? Because you blindly wandering on. You worshiping the hypocrite. You don't even know what success is. You just like that hypocrite because he think like you. So the messenger goes on. He says, when the hypocrites come to thee, they say, we bear witness that thou art indeed Allah's messenger. And Allah knows thou art indeed his messenger. And Allah bears witness that the hypocrites are surely liars. He says they take shelter under their oaths, thus turning men from Allah's way. So they're going to take shelter in that, oh, I said I was a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. You take shelter under that, but you really turning people away from the message.
Yes, sir.
That's what the messenger said. Beware of. Because the messenger taught against his hypocrites.
That's right.
He says, surely evil is that which they do. That is because they believe, then disbelieve. Thus their hearts are sealed, so they understand not.
Yes, sir.
So this is why you need to know who a hypocrite is. Because they understand not. So these brothers who love these hypocrites going to tell you that's his understanding. He could have his heart sealed by Allah. And you listen to this brother tell you about the black man is God. And he a hypocrite. That's why the messenger exposed hypocrites. He did not just not talk about them. He says their desire to make the messenger think that they are true believers by saying that they believe that he is the messenger of Allah, while in their hearts they do not believe that he is the messenger of Allah.
And called me. And he said, when are you coming this way? I said, gee, I'll be there in September. I'm coming out that way. He said, well, I'll come and meet you. And right after Labor Day, I went to Los Angeles. And Jabril didn't have any money. He borrowed some money to get there. I think he had a dime in his pocket and had on some shoes that was too big for his feet. But he got there, and he had a book in a paper bag. And we met in Hollywood at the hotel where I was staying. And he asked me about Master Farad Muhammad. I said, well, I love him very much, but I don't believe he's God. And he asked me about the messenger, and I said, I love him very, very much, but I don't see him now as the messenger. I see Prophet Muhammad as the messenger. And he said, well, he said, here, I want you to read this. And when you finish reading this, then I'll talk to you. And I went upstairs in the room, and I took the book out. It was about Jesus. He had written it himself. And he came back the first day to check on me. After the first day, he knocked on the door. And when the door was open, his book was in between the beds. There was two twin beds in the room. And I went back, I told him I was just kneeling down in between the two beds reading the book. And he said, how far have you gotten? And I told him what chapter I was on. He said, well, keep going. I'll talk to you, when you finish. And on the third day, I finished the book. It really is something to see yourself fulfilling Scripture. On the third day, in the third year of my hypocrisy against my father, I rose from the dead. And when Brother Jabril came back, the very words that I used told him exactly who I was. I said, brother, your eye operation has been a great success. the scales have been removed from my eyes. Those are the words that Paul used after he saw the light and met Jesus in a vision on the road to Damascus. That very day I got up, I cried. I said, oh, brother, I've been a hypocrite. And he tried to comfort me. I said, don't comfort me. I've been a hypocrite to my messenger.
And Allah knows what is in their hearts, that they are liars. He says they come in believing and then disbelieve. After their disbelief, Allah seals their hearts so they cannot understand or believe. So that one whose proper name is Allah. You think you wise. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to turn these people. No. He'll seal your heart to where you can't believe or understand. So you telling other brothers you God too. Don't even know what God means. Allah has 99 attributes. So this brother believing you think he God. He can't produce nothing. He can't do nothing on his own, but he think he God. Blindly wandering on. You ain't getting away from Allah.
That's right.
He the one true God who came to save us.
Yes, sir.
We didn't come to save him. These teachings are to save us from the destruction of the white man. That's what the messenger said these teachings came for. He says the teachers of Islam came to save you from the destruction. That's it. Why he said accept it or reject it. Because it's for you. It don't make no. That's why the messenger said when brothers turn hypocrite. He said, I don't go after them. Do what you want to do. Try to turn as many people away as you want to. Don't make me no difference. Because this come for you. Save you from the destruction. So the messenger goes on because you don't just have hypocrites. You got disbelievers too. What is a disbelief? It says, those who disbelieve in Allah and his messenger and desire to make a distinction between Allah and his messenger and say we believe in some and disbelieve in others and desire to take a course in between. These are truly disbelievers, and we have prepared for the disbelievers an abasing chastisement. So you got a hypocrite who was once a Muslim. The hypocrite done got his ex. He turned against this. A disbeliever ain't necessarily no Muslim. He probably never accept. But he that one that's going to make a distinction between Allah and the messenger. He going to say, I believe in the messenger, but I don't believe Master Muhammad God. He a disbeliever too. He don't believe in nothing. He just talk. He a disbeliever. He a disbeliever because he hating on the messenger just like the hypocrite. Because the messenger said you got to believe in both. That's why the title of this chapter is Hypocrites, Disbelievers, and Obedience. You got to know what obedience means. Obedience means a belief as the messenger believes. That's the whole thing. All Muslims supposed to believe as the messenger believes. All this your understanding, that don't mean nothing. You can understand it the way you want to understand it. You can have a hypocrite's understanding to think that, well, I accept the messenger, but I don't accept Master Muhammad. You a hypocrite then. Because once you write this letter, you saying. That's why we got a check procedure. You can't come in here drunk, high, none of that. Because this is a conscious decision that every Muslim makes. So when they turn hypocrite, it's their choice. They lie. So all this applies to the hypocrites and the disbelievers. And the messenger says the prophet is warned to strive hard against hypocrites and disbelievers, and to be unyielding to them, for their abode is the fire of hell. The relation between the hypocrites and the believers is cut off. They are not allowed to go around the Muslims. Not even charity is accepted from hypocrites by the believers. They seek friendship with the enemies of Islam. So in this new school stuff, we can hang with anybody. Hang with hypocrites, hang with disbelievers, bring them to the temple, socialize with them. But with the messenger, no, you don't socialize with them. Because if you really believe, why would you socialize with them? But in this new school stuff, since we don't know who hypocrites is, Anybody can come to the temple. We can socialize with anybody. That's why this black man's God stuff is all over the place. It ain't no loyalty. Like you say in the street, be true to the game. And the game will be true to you. Even in the street, we understand there's certain things you can't do to the game, brother, and be true to the game. Even on the street, they don't like people who ain't true to the game. Get this square away from me. He ain't true to the game, brother. Want him around me. If I'm robbing, I want a brother that's true to the game with me. We about to rob this bank. You want to rob it with me or what? So if we get caught, I don't want to hear you about you telling. You ain't being true to the game. You knew we was about to go rob this bank. Whatever we doing, we selling drugs. Is you true to it or what? We selling drugs. You know we selling drugs. Is you true to the game? You gonna sell drugs with me or what? When there ain't nothing about no telling when we get caught. That's being true to the game.
Right.
When you become a Muslim, you need to be true to the game.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah.
Right.
If you say you following the messenger, you believe, you don't hang around hypocrites.
That's right.
You don't hang around people who in bad standing because you true to the game. Messenger said we ain't supposed to do it, we don't do it.
Right.
You true to the game. If you a hypocrite, if you was a Muslim, and you talking against Master Farad Muhammad or the messenger, and you turn hypocrite, we ain't got nothing to do with you.
That's right.
We ain't sympathizing with you.
That's right.
We ain't acting like everybody teach the same thing. No, he a hypocrite.
That's right.
He was a Muslim. If he turned his back on Allah, I remember reading a messenger writing an article about that. If a brother would turn his back on Allah, who put him on the right way, shower him with blessings, clean this brother up, what you think he'll do to you?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Why are you sympathizing with a hypocrite? He was on the right path. The teachers of the messenger cleaned him up.
That's right.
Then he'll turn his back on the messenger and talk about the messenger and Master Farad Muhammad. You sympathizing with him like, oh, this is my friend. That was just his understanding. No, he a hypocrite.
That's right.
Because the thing about this hypocrite thing, we ain't even scratched the surface on talking about hypocrites. This hypocrite thing will make enemies for you. This hypocrite thing. Because when we really start talking about hypocrites, we'll say that most, 99% of this Nation of Islam stuff today is ran by hypocrites. Most of it. And that's why in the message to the black man, when you talk about Islam, that chapter, the hypocrites, disobedient, disbelievers in obedience, and the part about the prayer service, we don't even teach on that no more. Because it'll expose our hypocrisy. You can't teach on the prayer service and teach about doing Jumu'ah. You can't do it. You can't talk about Islam and let brothers sit up there and talk about this brother God, when the principal belief in Islam is one God. That's right. You can't talk no Islam. You got to talk, let brothers say what they want to say. You can't add no Scientology to Islam and then talk about Islam. No. Then talk about hypocrites. Then talk about the prayer service. You can't do it. So most of this stuff that we see today is ran by hypocrites. Right. So the messenger got another Muhammad Speaks newspaper that's called Friendship of Allah God. The messenger says, he says, of all friendships of friends and relationships, there is no friendship that is equal to the friendship of Allah God. To have Allah God as a friend, as our friend, we have a place of refuge. We have a shelter from the great stormy tempest of the wicked. The friendship of Allah God is the kind of friendship and refuge that the black man in America should seek. We the Muslims who have submitted ourselves to the will of Allah God to do his will, so that Allah God may be pleased to do for us and to be our friend. So when the messenger talking about Allah, he talking about the friendship of Allah. Because when we say in our prayers, when we submit to the teachings of the messenger, we want Allah to be our friend.
That's right. Yes, sir.
We ain't just doing that just so we pray and talk in the wind and we just doing, no. We doing this because we want the friendship of Allah. That's the purpose. You talk about hypocrites because you want the friendship of Allah. You want him to know I'm with you. I done took an oath to you. So he a hypocrite. He a disbeliever. We don't socialize with them because you want the friendship of Allah.
That's right.
You don't want the friendship necessarily of this brother and that brother. You want the brotherhood, But number one, the messenger says, of all friendships, and of friends and relationships, there is no friendship that is equal to the friendship of Allah. Right. No friendship. That's right. No friendship. Right. Because the one thing that I like about when you learn about the history of the Nation of Islam and hypocrites, no matter what them hypocrites did, it never destroyed the brotherhood. That's right. Because the number one friend was Allah and the Messenger. So even when Malcolm and these other hypocrites had brothers in the temple, and they was discovered, that didn't destroy the brotherhood. The brotherhood turned on them. Yes. Straight up. Ain't no. Because the number one friend we got is Allah and the Messenger. Right. All praise due to Allah. All of this rests on that. So you ain't my brother because I just like you so much. No. You my brother because I believe you believe like I believe. That's why you my brother. So when we find out you don't, we all turned against you. Hey, due to Allah. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how you have a strong brotherhood, strong sisterhood. That's how you create an atmosphere where people know if you come over there to them brothers, you got to be doing the right thing. That's right. I even used to listen to them brothers talk about Captain Joseph. I remember I was listening. They said this brother wouldn't let you in the temple if you had a bad attitude. Coming there looking like you frowning. That brother said he'd turn him around at the door. You couldn't even come to the temple with attitude. Some of the stuff that you listen to about Muslims, you can't even believe black people was that strong for the messenger like that. The way a hypocrite now. Some of these brothers tell people, I don't believe Master Farad Muhammad is God. I don't believe that. But they can still be around Muslims. Brothers who talking about you love the messenger. People talking about Sunnis. Say, I don't believe that Elijah Muhammad is the messenger. But brothers will come. And you even had video of these hypocrites who used to be Muslims, now they Sunnis, telling the world, I think the Nation of Islam is headed towards Sunni Islam. And then they'll have that same hypocrite on Saviors Day talking. Why he telling his Sunni brothers the only reason I go over there because I believe that they about to come over to Sunni Islam. Then that Saviors Day he'll be up there talking. Same dude who videos he got on there telling you, I don't believe that Elijah Muhammad was no messenger. I was in the nation. Talk against the messenger. That ain't no brotherhood. That's right. That ain't no brotherhood no Muslim want to be a part of. No, I don't want to be a part of no brotherhood where people can talk about the messenger like that. Right. I don't want to be a part of that brotherhood. I don't want to be a part of a brotherhood where a hypocrite can talk about our God. That's right. Turn other people away from our God and we still sympathize with him. No. I want to see how it feels like to have a whole bunch of brothers believe in the messenger like you believe. All praise due to Allah. That's how I want to feel. How do that feel? When you can just say, man, he got a picture of the messenger on the wall. And we all just go and ain't leaving till that picture come down. I want to see how that feel. Yes. So now I have to be explaining with brother, you know the messenger said we. No, he got a picture. Right. I want to see how that feel, brother. I want to see how it feel to have to call a brother like, no, we can't do that, brother. Just don't, no. I want to see how that feel. I want to see how that feel. I get tired of looking like, well, what's up with that? I want to see how it feel to have to tell a brother, you going too far, brother. You can't do that. Chill out. How that feel? Like God here, believe he wanted to do all that. I want to see how that feel. I don't like this new school stuff. We tolerate too much. I don't see how the messenger can say that these women ain't his wives, but a brother can bring them on stage and tell people they ain't even hiding the Muhammad Speak newspaper. They online. They online. All this stuff about what the messenger say online. Betty Shabazz, I seen one, they got a video of her. The so-called Nation of Islam has some little thing about Malcolm X. She get on stage in front of all these Muslims and tell them Elijah Muhammad didn't teach Malcolm nothing. All these brothers in that 4I uniform. Yes, sir. Man, I'd have left. I can't be in there. Well, no, how y'all gonna, first of all, if you go to something for Malcolm X, that right there showing you don't believe in the messenger. That's right. The way the messenger used to talk about Malcolm X. That's right. But if you did go, say, well, I just want to see what's gonna happen. Then you see her get on stage and say, the messenger ain't teach Malcolm nothing and have all these lost founds clap. That's the state of the Nation of Islam. That's why we're in a good position to be so small. That's right. We blessed. That's right. Praise due to Allah. The messenger talking about that 300 feelers.
Yes, sir.
We in a good position to be so small because we can start it off. These Muhammad Speaks newspapers.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Tell brothers how it go.
Right.
Tell them what a hypocrite is. We ain't got to go along with these hypocrites.
That's right.
We don't have to.
That's right.
We ain't bothering nobody either.
That's right.
The reason why I only talk from these Muhammad Speaks newspapers because I know we make enemies. No, we do. But I want to be like them brothers did when they was saying, it's one thing to say you believe in Allah out of love, faith, and trust. But it's another thing to see the power of Allah.
That's right.
It's no another thing. See the power of Allah when you call on Him, when you trust in Him.
Right.
So I know we make enemies talking about hypocrites. I know we make enemies talking about all this stuff. But the truth, only friend of the truth is the truth.
Yes, sir.
And the message said Allah is the author of truth.
That's right.
So if you mad at me, you mad at Him.
Yes, sir. That's right.
You mad at Him, and that's the way I want to keep it.
Yes, sir.
Because I ain't saying what I want to say. I'm just reading with you what He said.
That's right.
He said beware of false prophets.
That's right.
He the one who taught us what a hypocrite is.
Yes, sir.
He the one who said all Muslims got to write their Savior's letter.
That's right.
He the one who said if you turn your heels on this, you a hypocrite.
That's right.
He the one who said we don't socialize with hypocrites.
That's right.
He the one who said it.
Yes, sir.
So if you mad at me, you mad at him.
That's right.
And that's the way I want to keep it.
Yes, sir.
Because when you look at these brothers now, when you look at all this stuff on YouTube, these brothers, what do they be teaching from? They don't have no message to the black man. They don't have no Muhammad Speaks. They don't have nothing. They be just freestyle. It's up there talking. That ain't what the messenger wanted us to do. Said, tell the people where you got it from.
That's right. Yes,
What he
sir.
said. We ain't supposed to be just up there freestyle.
That's right.
Because even during the time of the messenger, ministers got sat down too.
That's right.
That's how the brotherhood is.
That's right.
When you see how when Malcolm turned hypocrite, how the Muslims turned against him quick.
That's right.
Quick. Some Muslims that only love the messenger.
Yes, sir.
Only Captain Joseph said. He said that when he was listening to Malcolm and he heard, because Captain Joseph was with Malcolm from the beginning. He was here in Detroit with Malcolm. So he said one day he started noticing Malcolm started losing that fire. Said, you know what? When I listen to you now, I don't feel the same fire that I used to feel. That's what Captain Joseph told me. Because Captain Joseph loved the messenger.
That's right.
I can tell by how he used to talk. He told him, like, I don't feel that same fire I used to feel when you used to talk before, because I ain't just sitting here just listening to you talk. I'm listening to hear you say something about the message.
That's right.
That's what I'm in here listening. So now you the big man now. I don't hear that same fire I used to hear before when you was just a little guy.
Yeah.
Because these brothers who get minister position with the messenger was auditioning for a job. It wasn't because they were so wise. When them brothers used to talk about Malcolm X so bad, that national representative post was open. So brothers was auditioning. Let me show the messenger how hard I can talk against Malcolm.
That's right. Yes, sir.
That's what it was. It wasn't because it was in your heart. Because as soon as Wallace turned, they go say what they want. Now I can be me. Now I can say what I really wanted to say.
Yeah.
Malcolm was a good man.
Yes, sir.
And that's why when you get these Muhammad Speaks newspapers, they say the hypocrites and the devil love Malcolm.
That's right. That's right.
All hypocrites. Because Malcolm, the messenger, set an example for all hypocrites.
That's right.
So when we talking about Malcolm, we talking about all the hypocrites
That's right.
who is in the nation. The devil and the hypocrites love Malcolm. Or the devil and another hypocrite love a hypocrite.
That's right.
Believers of the messenger don't love no hypocrite. I don't care how much you science him up. If he talking against the messenger. Because this is our only salvation, the messenger said.
That's right.
Only salvation. And when you turn people away from the messenger, you turning them away from their only salvation.
That's right.
So anybody who believe in the messenger don't love no hypocrite.
That's right.
Because it ain't about you science. It's about us being saved from the destruction of Allah.
Yes, sir.
Because the messenger in friendship of Allah. In my closing, the messenger says Islam is entire submission to the will of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever. He says, we the black man in America have nothing. No money, no decent homes to live in. Allah God is the giver, and to reject the offer of the friendship of Allah God who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all praise is due forever, to better our condition and set us in heaven at once. For our rejection, our flesh should fry in hell fire.
Yes, sir.
He always used to talk like that.
That's right. Yes, sir.
For your rejection of Allah, your flesh should burn in hell fire.
That's right.
That's how the messenger used to give us Islam. It wasn't no plaything.
That's right.
It ain't no plaything to just reject the messenger and reject Allah. So when you see a hypocrite and you believe that, you don't love no hypocrite.
That's right.
Because the hypocrite's only desire is to turn the true believers away from the messenger.
That's right.
That's what the messenger said.
That's right.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam, greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone please for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray if they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is that true servant and last apostle. Ameen. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves, and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Watch us on YouTube. Search Muhammad's Temple of Islam through your YouTube app, on your phone, smart TV, or your computer. Be sure to subscribe to Muhammad's Temple of Islam when you watch us on YouTube.